Okay, let's jump right into a really fascinating puzzle about the human mind. Imagine this: a person who genuinely struggles to count to 20, but then they can sing every single word of a complicated pop song without missing a beat. It just doesn't seem possible, right? It feels like a total contradiction. But what if it's not a contradiction at all? What if it's actually a clue, a huge clue, to how incredibly different all of our brains can be?
And this quote, wow, it really gets right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? You can almost feel the frustration. Math concepts learned in school, just gone. The names of kids they see every single day, a complete blank. But song lyrics? Perfect. What in the world is going on here? So, we're going to call this the memory paradox. Because, let's be honest, on the surface, that's exactly what it looks like. It really makes you question our basic ideas about memory, about what it means to learn something or to forget it. This really breaks down that divide perfectly. It's like a tale of two completely separate memories. On one side, you've got the stuff that's forgotten. Academic things like math problems or social facts like people's names. And then on the other side, you have what's remembered: song lyrics, melodies, and that infectious rhythm. It's like there are two different pathways in the brain. And for this person, one seems to be blocked, while the other is a super high.
And, of course, this leads to the big question, the one so many of us would probably ask. Is this person just not trying hard enough with their schoolwork? Are they choosing to remember songs instead of their friends' names? It's a totally natural question to ask, but as we're about to find out, it's based on a really big misunderstanding of how the brain can work.
The answer, it turns out, has nothing to do with choice or effort. It's all about neurology. This isn't someone faking it or being lazy. This is about a brain that is simply wired differently. A brain that is doing its absolute best with the connections it has.
And here's the clinical term for it: uneven memory. The source material explains that this is a classic sign of conditions like fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, or FASD. A good way to think about it is like the brain's filing system isn't just a little disorganized, it's unpredictable. Some files are right there, easy to access. Others seem like they're lost or corrupted. You never know which one you're going to get. This quote right here is maybe the most important thing to understand. She's not faking. Her brain is doing its best. That single idea changes everything. It moves us away from judgment and toward compassion. It shifts us from being frustrated to being curious. We stop asking, why can't you do this? And we start asking, okay, how can we do this? Which leads us straight to the solution. See, if the problem is neurological, then the solution has to be neurological too. We just need to find the right key for the right lock. And in this case, that key is music. I just love this metaphor from the source. It's so simple. If you walk up to a house and the front door is locked, you don't just throw your hands up and walk away, right? No. You check for a side door, you look for an open window, you try the back gate. It's the exact same thing with learning. If the usual path, just reading a book or memorizing flashcards, is locked, we have to get creative and find another way in.
So what is that other way in? Well, the source points to this powerful trio: music, rhythm, and rhyme. And why do they work so well? Because they engage totally different and often stronger parts of the brain. Music hooks into our emotions. Rhythm taps into our procedural memory, the part that remembers how to do things, like ride a bike or type on a keyboard. So when you pair something like a math equation with a catchy melody, you're not just trying to store a dry fact, you're actually storing an experience. And this really brings us to the bigger picture. This whole idea of finding an alternate route, it's not just some special trick for one specific condition. It's actually a pretty deep lesson for how we should think about learning and teaching for everyone. I mean, think about it. Don't we all have our own kinds of uneven memories? Some of us are visual learners. We need to see a diagram. Others are hands-on learners. We need to actually build the thing. This story is just a more extreme example of a universal truth. There's no single right way to learn. That's a myth. We're all wired a little differently.
And here it is. This is the big takeaway from all of this. Every brain has a way in. We just have to find it. That is such a hopeful and powerful statement. It puts the responsibility on us, as teachers, as parents, as friends, to become detectives, really, to be curious and creative enough to find that unique key that unlocks the amazing potential inside every single person. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Who are the people in your life? Your kids, your colleagues, your partner? Where might their front doors seem a little locked? And what side doors, what other ways in might you be overlooking? How can you start looking for the way in for all the different brilliant and unique brains that you interact with every day? Thanks for joining us.